Rural Independent Group.
Thank you very much, Cloncorla. Taoiseach is very clear that to many that he've lost control of the migration issue. And yet, at the same time, many of our own young men and women, boys and girls, are leaving this country to go to Australia, Dubai, Canada and other places because they can't afford. The one thing they can't do is to afford to build a house for themselves or to buy a house, or even in Kerry to get planning permission to build a house. Many of our young farmers are deciding not to take over viable, productive farms, where a lot of money and sweat and blood has been put into to ensure the continuation. But these people are deciding, these youngsters are deciding, and not prepared to take on the constant vilification, demonisation, and regulations being doled out by your government of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, and demanded and driven by the Greens and indeed others. Our tourism industry in Killarney and Kerry is suffering because of the influx of migrants which are placed in so many of our hotels and guest houses. 36% of our bed nights availability is taken up by asylum seekers and refugees. Already many small restaurants, cafes, pubs and souvenir shops are closed. I'm canvassing since 1973 and I never met so many people concerned and raising the issue with me about the migration issue on the doors at this time. You've lost control. They feel that you've lost complete control of the migration issue. Nobody objects to asylum seekers or refugees if they have a genuine case of distress. But who can explain how they salvaged their cats and dogs if the bombs were raining around them, dropping around them, and that our taxpayers are paying so much to quarantine these cats and dogs, or who will explain how they got time to bring their flashy SUVs and high-powered cars registered in Ukraine? How did they get time to do that? And how have they're going home for holidays and for Christmas, going home, and yet we were told their homes were bombed and blown out of existence. Nobody here objects to other people from anywhere in the world coming here to work, provided they have the proper visas and whatever they need to do that. But what they are objecting to, what the people are objecting to, is that people being placed in hotels, paid full social welfare and all the benefits, and have a good time inside in our hotels. How can he explain that, Taoiseach? Because that's what's happening, and at the same time you're hurting our tourism industry in Killarney and Kerry. Thank you, Taoiseach, but it's very clear to me two things. You're after giving me a lot of waffle, but the other thing is that you're not in touch with reality and what's happening in Kerry and Killarney. 36% of our bed nights are still taken up by refugees and asylum seekers. That is a fact. Many of our restaurants and cafes and so forth have closed. There is a problem there. And you see, we have to be honest with the people that are paying our taxes. They're paying 44% tax, and they're paying 52% tax, and 4.5% USC charges up on top of that. And this is what's happening. You're hurting the people, and you have lost control, because we have the Minister for Justice who's beside you here today on the one hand saying that she'll send migrants back to the UK. Who have you got to round them up? The Garda Immigration Bureau is not properly resourced. You're not able to follow him up. And he'll have to take action now, because clearly you've lost control with places like Killarney and Kerry. And we see what's happening here in Dublin in the television. We can see enough of that. You've lost control completely. And you have to come down to Kerry to see it. And I'm very sure that your local election candidates are getting it in the neck in Kerry, because I'm being told about it and they know who's responsible for it. You levy them down.